So let's talk about tonight's episode. Lot to debrief, unpack, as you will. We've been spending months turning this into art. Now, this was filmed in the springtime in a very, very intense time for Control Your Narrative, Space Cowboy, Stacey Alexander. Do you want to chime in at all about what we were going through in March and all the changes and the attention and the exposure that we had going into this filming?
We were hot. It's been a while. We're warm now. It feels like it's been 10 years.
Well, if we're dead, we're cold.
Yeah, I guess we're freezing cold.
This is actually zombie pro right now.
But it does feel like it's been forever.
It has been forever.
People have asked, what's next? We have not answered.
Yeah.
And now we're doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a long time coming. First, it was a long time. Now something's coming.
But let's really get into the painful present, which is the tagline to Free the Narrative 3. Free the Narrative 2 was The Monster in Us All, which was starring a monster who is now a monster once again. But, you know, the painful present, it's been a rough year making this. We're actually going through a lot to create this stuff, and it starts with Killer Kross and Tyler Bateman. Very, very, first off, what a kick.
What a kick.
What a kick.
Say, not only does it start with them, it starts with a kick to the mouth.
A kick to the mouth. To dial it back a little bit, Killer Kross finds himself in the narrative. Killer Kross is a man that didn't really need to control his narrative. He was more or less someone who was built to lead the underground of the narrative. And he came to us. He wrestled Vincent in Dallas at the Awakening Dallas. So it made sense for him to show up and pick a fight with Tyler Bateman. Tyler Bateman is in the Righteous family with Bill Carr, Dutch, whatever you want to call him, whatever moniker he's wearing that week, that serial killer, Bill Carr.
He's the best.
He's the best.
What a wackadoo.
I don't want to say serial killers are the best, but Bill Carr rules.
He's the best.
He is the best.
We can't put him in a bag, in a box, under an umbrella.
No, and I've often said that if the world was to die, like let's say there's like apocalypse, Bill Carr is going to survive.
Oh, he has to.
Yeah, he has to, and then he'll finally win a match because there'll be nobody. He'll defeat himself or a cockroach.
An eye for an eye makes the world go blind, except for the one guy at the end who's just got the one eye, and that's going to be Bill Carr.
Yeah, or Patch.
Either one.
That's what we call him, Patch. All right, so we're having some fun here. We're opening up. We're letting loose. We're talking about the painful present. If you're watching this on Pro Wrestling TV, thank you for subscribing to Pro Wrestling TV. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please go watch these two wonderful matches on Pro Wrestling TV. If you're seeing this or listening to this on YouTube or any other streaming platform, we are not giving away the art. You have to go to PWTV to watch it. They helped us make it. It's theirs as much as it's ours.
And if I may, not giving away the art, it is free on PWTV.
Yes.
You just got to go there. So in a sense, we're giving it away. There's just one couple-inch high hurdle in the way.
Which is insane for the society now to do.
I love free.
I love free.
It's one of my favorite prices.
But I've been given free so much, why would I close one app and go to another app, even though it's all free, and do that? I have to hit the button 3 times and put my email in.
The swipe up.
The swipe up. That's just too much effort. Give me a quarter pounder and cheese. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Killer Kross enters the narrative. He looks Bateman in the eye. Bateman wants to fight. Bateman, he is like the modern day Butcher of the narrative. The Butcher, Gangs of New York, have you seen?
No.
You've not seen Gangs of New York. I thought that was on your application when you got a job here.
It's on the list.
Gangs of New York. It's like Fight Club, Gangs of New York, Rules of Attraction, American Psycho, like any of those?
Fight Club.
Oh, God, he made it
Watched it on an airplane. And the worst thing in the world is when we watch a movie on an airplane and it features an airplane crash somewhere in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It is. And then boobs.
And boobs.
Those are the two things you shouldn't watch on an airplane.
No.
And it has both. Don't watch Fight Club on airplanes.
Yeah. I actually listened to Fight Club on my last airplane flight home.
You're weird.
It made me really reapproach my relationship with Control Your Narrative.
Or you just listened to the movie?
I listened to the book.
Okay, that's less weird.
Yeah.
On long,
because it's a completely different finish.
Long wrestling road trips, I used to, SpongeBob SquarePants movie, face down and just listen to it in my car.
Oh my God!
It's got the same.
There's a level of hell that is.
Well, it's got the same morals to it. Same, pretty
As
much
hell?
the same ending. No, it's Fight Club.
Oh, it's Fight Club. Yeah. Yeah. Is Mr. What's his best friend?
Who are we talking? Patrick?
Patrick. Would you consider Patrick the narrator at that point, like his best friend? Does he?
I would think so.
Yeah. Does he shoot himself?
Well, Patchy the Pirate would be
Patchy the Pirate. Yeah. Wow. You just blew my mind on that.
Anyway.
All right. So we're getting in there. Killer Kross challenges Tyler Bateman for a fight. Tyler Bateman, what an evil, disgusting personality that man is. And
Weirdo.
he also goes to the same mustache doctor as me, but God damn it, there's something attractive with his destruction.
Well, and they hit each other with one of these.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk about this.
Well, so you walk into a fight anywhere in life, except on the street. If you're in UFC, if you're in wrestling, there's an unspoken promise that you make to one another. You're trying to win the fight, but you're not trying to hurt the guy. You're not trying to kill the guy. And if I had to guess, I'm not a professional guesser, I would say that this is them. It's like, yeah, we're aware of the promise we make to one another when we're stepping in here, but we don't care.
And it's amazing that they made a promise to fight fair to each other when there's no referee in the narrative.
Nothing.
And it's really whatever they want to do. And that is something to say about Killer Kross's character as a human being, as the man, Kevin, is that the day he came in that day, he was super professional, spoke to everybody's leader, and he, there was a lot of plans in place that he would have done with us if we were to continue to work with him, but he actually controlled his narrative and was able to stand the ground as the man he said he was going to be. He took his release with pride and came back a better, stronger man because he came through not only the narrative, but the indies and literally kicked everyone's ass along the way. But Bateman, being a real turd, kicks him right in the face.
Mouth.
Yeah, right in the face. And we see throughout the fight Bateman using really... what did you say? Shady tactics. You're a professional wrestler. And
Shady's a good word. Yeah. Anybody in eyeliner, you got to expect them to be shady at one point or another.
Yeah.
The headbutts were the most interesting point to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the headbutt, to quote Paul Blart Mall Cop, nobody wins with a headbutt. And nobody ever really intends to win with a headbutt. If you look back, John Starks headbutt Reggie Miller. You're not trying to win. You're just trying to make a point. And obviously, John Starks and Bateman both, their point is, I don't like you. I don't care about you. Just going to smack my head against your head to show that.
And that was something that I have to applaud Bateman in using the environment and being able to actually act free, because that's what we do is we give everybody opportunity to fight free for themselves. Bateman headbutt. He bit. He tore at his eyes. He tried ripping his eyes. Can you imagine if Killer Kross lost an eye in the narrative?
Imagine if he lost two.
Oh my gosh.
That's the most you can lose.
He wouldn't be cross-eyed, as
no,
you like to say.
he'd be clear cross.
He'd be clear Kross. He would rock that if he was Killer Kross as a blind man. Would be huge.
Eye patches were really big in wrestling like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
he could have brought it back.
They're big in the room right now. Behind the camera, the guy's got an eye patch on. That's what we call him, patch. But it was that day with Killer Kross was great. We did film a pre-production meeting. We like to call the AA meeting, where a lot of the people that fight and performed in the Free the Narrative got to really talk about who they really are. And I think it's very important for that personal connection for everybody in the room to have that, where they open up their hearts and talk about the struggles they are in, whether they are as a man or woman in the personal lives or as a professional in the business, because the business is rough. Any entertainment business is rough. And wrestling is just navigating narcissism. So there's a lot you have to unpack and deal with every day. And Killer Kross came in that day and didn't bat an eye to opening up his heart to everybody. And I look forward to showing that footage soon.
I just wanted to bring something to everybody's attention, though. We're all from different walks of life, different levels of experience in the business. But do you see, though, after listening to all of this, that you guys can relate with a little bit of what every single person said in here? You know what I'm saying? There's something to be said for that. Whether it's been in wrestling or it's been in an occupation or school or social circles or whatever, we're put on this road by people to apply ourselves 120% to give our best effort. And then, like, sometimes if we're able to achieve that and we're doing everything perfectly or even exceeding expectations, suddenly we become the bad guy. Maybe it's been like a family situation. Maybe it's like somebody in here was contributing more than somebody else in the house, or you outworked somebody at your job, or you're in commission sales or something, and you're killing it, and suddenly you become the bad guy for that. I can promise you one thing, that is never gonna happen here. That's never gonna happen here. If you take away anything from today, if it's your first day, you've been here for a couple times, whatever you want this to become is what it's going to become, and it's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for you, and you need to trust in that process. Find the best version of yourselves while you're here and have absolutely no fear of what that's going to bring forward into the equation of your life. And I'm really proud of everybody for coming here, because self-transformation is a scary fucking thing. It's scary because a lot of us go through these experiences in life where perhaps we're developing into somebody that we really don't like, but we're doing it out of necessity to survive. I'll give you a prime example. There's nothing wrong with the 9-to-5 worker. Without 9-to-5 workers, this world will not run. But some people in here, and dare I say everyone, knew that that was not going to work for them. The 9-to-5 situation was a transition to doing what you wanted to do when you were a kid, when you grew up. You know, you ever notice when you're little, they tell you that you can grow up to be whatever you want? You know what I mean? That's the thing we sell. Why do we stop telling kids that as they grow up? Suddenly it's like they just drop the curtain and it's like, I was just kidding about that. Now you got to go here, do this, do that. Oh, you don't like it, you're not happy? Well, that's life. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. And I think there's something to be said that we can all find a common ground with that. While you're here, express yourself however you see fit. And just don't be afraid. And I'll let you guys be with that. There's a lot to unpack. Thank you very much for everybody's time.
But Bateman, there's something about him that, like, you know, I'd love to see what he can do as a leader. Like what he would do if he had a ragtag bunch of bitches, as they say in Gangs of New York.
Do they say that?
Yeah, they do. You should watch.
He's got a ragtag bunch of folk.
Yeah.
I don't think he's their leader.
No. And that's not saying Vincent's a leader either. I think that Vincent is just the most animated. He's a front man to a very, very dark band.
Yeah. And I tell you what's the thing about being a front man, it's hard to do with a guitar. Really hard, so thank God he doesn't have one. A couple other things.
Yeah.
Specifically, you say we get a lot to look at. Right there at the end, there was nothing to look at. Quick cut to black. What was the reason for that?
Well, there's something that we decided to do with Killer Kross's elbow to the back of the head, his finisher, where in Dallas we decided to take that away. And there's this, I'm not saying a power over you, the fan, that we're trying to say, but there's something about taking a finisher away, taking away a super kick, taking away a power bomb. If you don't see the impact, do you know what it did, or would you pay more attention to what it did? Like, he's on the ground, he's elbowing him, he's taking him out, but it meant so much more seeing what happened than actually showing it happening, I feel. But I'm also a crazy scientist, and I'm trying to dismantle pro wrestling and put it back together in a completely different way, and see how it looks. And that may anger some people, and I guess we can maybe launch a Patreon where you can actually see the connection of the elbow.
Just 1 second clips on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's just
elbows,
it's just
power bombs.
You get this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just like TikTok.
But it's something that, you know, our desire is to be different, and sometimes different takes a bravery that takes a lot of consequence. And man, what a brutal ending, though. The moment Killer Kross initiates his finisher on the corner, and then takes it to Bateman. It's just, I don't know, it's visceral and beautiful.
Well, and he smokes him. I mean, Killer Kross has a lot to say at the end of this.
Yeah.
Bateman's just laying there like a sandwich, just on the ground, can't move.
And to speak more about Killer Kross and the words he speaks, he does it in the ring. He does it violently. He does it with his elbows, his fists. Killer Kross is such a impressive, I don't know, he's just a spectacle of anger.
Specimen of a man.
Yeah,
Team Handsome.
Yeah, there's a reason he's doing what he's doing. It's obvious. You know what I mean? I'm really happy that the world caught up to what he has to offer. But he cuts this promo at the end to the neglected of the narrative, the projects that are standing there, and an EC3 sitting ringside. And he cuts this promo, and wow, what a way to take what's going on in reality and turn it into a beautiful lesson for those spectators watching. And what blew my mind in the moment when it happened, and then as I've digested it, and me and Tommy Tinks did the music and the visual with the words and turning it to art, the fact that he says fighting for yourself is the only way you can save professional wrestling really struck a chord in my heart. I'm getting goosebumps now saying it back out loud. And, we call that peace by proximity. And by proximity, helping yourself is how you're going to save professional wrestling, because being the best version of you is how you're going to because you're never going to quiet the naysayers and the negative toxicity of the wrestling fan base, but being the best you is how you're going to survive it. And by that, every bit, you might change a little perspective here and there.
A few last things. Here's this. It's really well made. I was supposed to show it earlier, and I forgot to. Finally.
Yeah, so with The Painful Present, Free the Narrative 3, the narrator, who just so happens to also be me, has been going to a tarot card reader, the clairvoyant, to find out not only the narrator's path in all this, but like what are we doing? And I'm going to keep on asking that question as these episodes come out, is what is the painful present? What is control your narrative? But as you can see right here, we have the Killer Kross, the Emperor. Funny fact, when I sent this to Killer Kross, he replied with, "That's actually my family's card." Fun story for later on, which he forgot to tell me over steaks. But the Emperor, I would definitely, there's so many leadership qualities about Killer Kross. About not only the person that you see on TV, but the man itself when he comes into a room, and just the level of communication, understanding, and pure artistic darkness is just the Emperor.
The only thing that could have made it better is if you put some real thick red suspenders on him.
Oh,
that is his look, if I've ever seen it.
Yes.
He looks his smartest in big red suspenders.
Do you guys see this with red suspenders?
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
If I could change one thing about him, it would be big red suspenders.
Well, if I was going to reiterate anything, I'm going to reiterate it like the youngest son of the Gemstones, and I'm going to go Jake Logan, the independent wrestler, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you knew this about Jake Logan. He's Jake Logan.
Oh,
and he'll tell you.
He'll tell you. Yelling your name before you Jericho salt is just, love you, Jake, but come on, man.
Matt Taven's cuter than you, too. I don't know if you knew that, Jake.
Yeah. There's how many people in the narrative need to say their name after they do things? You got, I'm Matt Taven, I'm Jake Logan.
And I did it once.
Yeah, Jake Logan, we love you, but you didn't win a world title at Madison Square Garden. We love you. But do you love yourself? That's the question I want to ask. And that's, I think, what we're diving deep into, the psychology of the typecast, stereocast, whatever it is, the independent wrestler and the desperation that comes with it, which Jake Logan is desperation, and we love him, but goddamn is it desperate. So Jake Logan, thus far in the narrative, if you're just catching up, we're going to be reiterating a lot of his content and footage. But in Free the Narrative 1, he got his coming ups on, or he got his ass kicked, comeuppets, by the Unknown Hand. And the Unknown Hand laid Jake Logan at the feet EC3. But yeah, so we kidnap him. He comes through the streets of Orlando blindfolded. EC3 cuts a promo about the ups and downs of the business and what are you willing to sacrifice. And then Jake Logan takes on the sergeant of the narrative, Fodder. And Fodder kicks his ass because Jake Logan makes the same mistakes over and over again because all he does is follow the same loop. He circles the same mountain, as the Christians may say. And Jake Logan finds himself thrown in the effing trash. But Free the Narrative 2 ends with Jake Logan finding the unknown hand on a street corner, pretty much projecting his negative ideas about the narrative in EC3. And he finds himself in the hand of the unknown hand and finds himself maybe a different perspective of wisdom. So we see a different Jake Logan come into Free the Narrative 3. The ballsy motherfucker has the audacity complex to elbow EC3 on the way to the ring. Would you do something like that?
It's a rude move
That's
from a
ballsy.
rude boy.
Yeah.
He's got the aggression of a 2007 Hot Topic assistant manager. We got a more aggressive and angrier Jake Logan. I think he was a little bit blonder this time. He was definitely stompier.
Stompier?
He was far stompier.
He's definitely stompier, yes.
Yeah. He was stamping his feet on the way in, got in, bip, dare I say a cheap shot.
He did. He had the advantage
And
because
then
he was
he starts
first one in the ring. But I also don't think that Jake Logan showed up looking to fight Weston Blake. He was looking for a fight in general.
He was just fighting.
And Weston Blake's like, I'll take my shirt off.
Well, and I don't know if you saw the shirt Jake Logan was wearing when he was behind the trash can. It said 7 words.
What were the 7 words?
If you don't like me, fight me.
Oh, gosh.
So I don't know if Weston doesn't like Jake, but Jake's looking for a fight. It says it on his shirt. If I wear a shirt that says fight me, I'm going to find a fight. Right now I'm wearing a shirt that says friend of Stacy. It's because I'm a friend of me. The shirts we wear matter.
If their match was a pop-up video, which is something that happened in the 90s, they were both trained by Dory Funk Jr.
Were they?
Both of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, both Weston Blake and Jake Logan had the same trainer, but they took different pathways and different levels of success. And Weston Blake is a visceral assassin of elbows.
And the other one's the youngest NWA national champion ever.
And if you didn't know that, he's going to tell you.
Yeah.
We love Jake Logan. But this fight, this matchup is pretty intense. And Jake Logan we definitely are like, oh my God, is this the Jake Logan we always wanted? Is all the leadership that EC3 has been given to Jake Logan finally finding like an answer? Is there success finally in Jake Logan?
Or is the leadership that the unknown hand's been given it?
Yeah, what is it? Unfortunately, Jake Logan likes to follow the same path and did this bullshit.
And you gotta wonder.
Yeah.
If he didn't pause in the air like Trinity from the Matrix, would Weston Blake have had time to roll away?
Well, that pause was my decision.
Never mind.
Yeah, that decision was mine because I am ultimately the wizard behind the curtain.
Well, that one's on me.
But and that is, as you say that, the wrestling fans' reaction. You should say that, like, why is Jake Logan in the Matrix? But like, I actually wanted a moment for glitch because a bomb-ass song was going to kick in, and I decided that we were going to have a visceral beatdown to some industrial beats made by Weston Blake. And Weston Blake kicked a living out of Jake Logan because he deserved it. And also, let's talk about the Jericho salt that Jake Logan likes to call out and let everybody know what's coming.
Lion salt?
Oh, God. I don't watch wrestling. I always thought that was a Jericho salt all the time.
Springboard moonsault's like
Springboard
the,
moonsault.
when you get down to it, I think.
Anything Jericho does is his. So we all know that. And he does this lion Jericho salt.
Yep.
But he does it all the time, and he actually yells his name.
He telegraphs it.
Yeah. But Weston Blake is a genius and sees everything coming. Weston Blake knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming.
We all knew.
I was standing out there.
Yeah, and Weston Blake's just like, I guess I'll get out of the way.
Let me scoot.
Yeah, let me scoot out of the way for that bullshit. And Weston Blake, there's a moment, and if you go back and watch the match on Pro Wrestling TV, there's a moment where Weston Blake gets on the other side of the ring and he looks like a predator in the wild with his prey, and he just looks and he's like, boy, you done f***ed up. And he just takes the boots to Jake Logan.
Starts stomping back.
Starts stomping back. Weston Blake, great stomp. Great stomp.
And his black boots.
And black boots,
And
yeah.
the thing about Weston Blake, and I'll tell you, he doesn't care what people think about him.
No.
You can tell that because he wore a brown belt with black boots.
No.
Anybody that does that, talking about telegraphing, it's clear that they don't care what you think.
The same man told me that right now is in a Canadian tuxedo. He's wearing denim on denim.
I lived in Calgary for a
Lived
little
in
bit.
Calgary? Yeah, you paid a lot of
where I
money
picked it
living,
out.
living
Yeah,
in
dude.
Calgary.
What's an expensive town?
It's an expensive,
Yeah.
expensive town.
They'll get you.
Yeah, the Dungeon Inn is pretty expensive.
they'll get you every time.
They'll get you pretty in there. Landstorm loves you. But, you know, Weston Blake lays the boots. He just kicks the living shit out of Jake Logan. And, you know, there's some kind of like glory and just excitement I got out of watching him kick the shit out of Jake Logan, because Jake Logan convinced me in the beginning of the fight that, hey, the unknown hand might have touched him. He might have some perspective on things. But then Weston Blake's like, nah, he's just a dumb and I'm going to kick the shit out of him. And it's great. And he kicks it out of him for a while. But the thing about Jake Logan is he doesn't give up. He doesn't stop knocking on that door, the basement door over here, knocking on the bedroom door, EC3's cot room.
Knocking on the bedroom door.
Jake Logan doesn't stop with his persistence. And that is why he survives. And unfortunately, Jake Logan doesn't get up.
No. Well, he does get up.
And then Weston Blake puts him back down.
Yeah.
And he gets up again.
He can't stop.
He can't stop.
Dare I say he's addicted to the shindig.
He's addicted to it. Yeah, I think Jake Logan's definitely addicted to the opportunity of getting his ass kicked in the narrative. And Weston Blake was there for it. But what I think myself, you, because you were there, R2-D2, C-3PO, and the rest of the projects in the Neglected, Jake Logan finally had a moment of respect with us. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think with us is what matters. Weston hit him with a good job. You earned my respect. It seemed a little patronizing.
It was a little patronizing.
Seemed a little disingenuous.
No.
But if we all took our words, if we all had our self-esteem based on the thoughts of one man, we'd just all be in a terrible mindset.
EC3, yeah.
The singularity isn't what matters. It's the people outside the ring. He earned our respect.
Yeah.
So even if Weston wasn't entirely genuine with his words, he got the applause.
Yeah.
We live for the applause.
We live for the applause. And,
Yep.
and you know, Weston Blake definitely got out of the ring like he had to catch a flight,
Yep.
which he did.
Proverbial flight.
Proverbial flight, because we walk everywhere in the narrative. He had to walk back to Texas. But what was amazing about Jake Logan, and I have to give a little guy some credit, is that right hand was still there. Jake Logan was still there. And I don't think Jake Logan's narrative is over.
No, never.
No, never. I don't think he's going to stop knocking. And I have to continue to ask every one of you, what do you think the unknown hand's putting in his head? What's his vision of leadership? All right, so once again, Jake Logan, independent wrestler, circling the same mountain, he's following the same loop. Weston Blake, visceral, badass.
The best.
What an amazing, and what a genuine human being. He will knock you the F out, but goddamn it, if he likes you, he'll pick you back up and tell you about what's wrong with your life.
And then he'll buy a bucket of beers right
He'll
after.
buy a bucket. Hey, let's go get a bucket of beers, and let me
he
tell you
does the
why I
cool
LB you.
thing
Yeah.
Where when he drinks one, he turns it upside down and puts it back in.
I love that.
It's the coolest thing a person can do.
Most anything Weston Blake does was cool.